General nerdery.
Okay, so I have mentioned before that my wife owns goats.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Just to enter into this conversation.
It's a wild way to start the episode, but...
One of our goats... Okay, so here's the rule about goats. Goats are smart enough to get themselves into trouble and not smart enough to get themselves out of trouble.
Okay.
One of our goats is a little over a year old, and she has trouble with the concept that she will get her head stuck in the fence if she puts her head through the fence to eat the grass, because she's got the horns, so, like, it goes backwards. But she's a giant dickhead about it when you're trying to get her head out of the fence. And she got her head stuck in the fence 3 times in the space of an hour.
Oh, God.
Like, grass on both sides of the fence, they look the same. She's got to have... Her sister...
Always greener, sir.
Her sister, who is literally within, like, 5 to 10 minutes of the same age, was like, man, I gotta stop doing that. But Amelia won't. So, Amelia the goat, obviously.
After 3 times, how long do you let it go before it becomes
She's very
animal
loud.
cruelty?
It's really more that she's very loud. And also, she has been stuck there for, I think, a couple of hours at one point.
Oh, wow.
Not because she did it while we were at work.
Right. I figured
yeah.
this was the case, but I just like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
You're not always there.
but Cece has come up with a solution that is one of my favorite things to see right now. She took a long stick, like 3 feet long,
Okay.
and just taped it to her horns. So
That's critical thinking.
So it kind of looks like Amelia is wandering around with just like a balance beam or a seesaw on top of her horns at all times.
No,
It's incredible.
Some extra handlebars.
We keep wanting to put more stuff on it.
Some fuzzy dice.
Anyways, welcome to General Nerdery, your podcast about liking things. I'm Zach.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Steven. Hi,
Steven.
I'm Steven.
And that's probably all we're going to talk about goats today, but like, I'm making no promises here.
Goats, yes. Swans, no.
Okay, I have a new theory that will tie into this, but we'll get into that later. Real quick, if you're like, hey, I thought they promised, I'm not actually sure about what we would have promised.
I don't know what order this is going to go in currently. I think we're going to get Dick Tracy, then this.
Okay, so, for context, we usually are a couple of episodes ahead. Like, we keep a few in the bank just so if anything goes wrong, we aren't screwed.
Also, things take time.
And things take time. Steven comes up to me a couple of days ago, and he's like, hey, what if we did a Halloween episode?
After I came up to him in an aisle, thinking
Okay,
Yeah,
so
full
Tyler...
disclosure, I did say, me and Tyler
I wasn't
wanna
trying
do
to
a Halloween
rob
episode.
Tyler of credit. I was saying Steven was the one that came up to me.
And I just didn't want it to all be on him that we switched gears so quickly.
No, that's...
And I want all the blame to be on Tyler.
Okay. I gotta watch a fun movie, so neither of you were getting blamed.
Yes.
But it's like, well, you realize we have to film or record that, like, tomorrow. Yeah. So, we definitely have, like, 2 or 3 episodes already recorded
Yes.
before, like, that will come out after this one. So, if there is some weird... the fuck did they mention that before? That's because we forget what shit we've said where.
Theoretically, it's going to go Dick Tracy, this, Letterkenny, then back to Farscape.
Oh, so we're only actually, like, 1 episode ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's not as bad as I thought.
We've gradually wasted our extra episodes.
It happens.
Maybe around the new year we'll take a break so we can not take... Yeah.
Honestly, we've been keeping pretty well ahead. Like, we've got a good buffer right now.
Meanwhile, Word Balloons we haven't recorded in, like, 2 months.
But we told them we weren't.
No,
Yeah, the balloon is so full of pulp.
dude,
we
I
had
don't
to
know
park
how
it.
that podcast is as cursed as it is, considering the schedule is the exact same as this one.
But it's also fun.
That just makes this one sound like punishment.
No, that one's too fun.
Oh, okay.
This one's fun, but that one's
a normal
too
level
fun.
of fun. This did lead to a conversation because it's like, okay, well, what are we going to watch for Halloween? and we had no plans. So a day of just asking people, like, what are underrated Halloween movies for y'all?
And this is where I get to thank you guys, because Hot Fuzz was the one I threw into the ring, which I think, let's start this off. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about Hot Fuzz as being a Halloween movie, so I'm going to explain this real quick. It's action Wicker Man.
It's that's the best way to say it. It's action Wicker Man. It is beat for beat very similar to the fucking Wicker Man.
It's also very heavily inspired by just thrillers across, like, in general, including some bits that are like straight giallo.
Yes.
We will definitely talk about this. As much as I loved this movie, and holy shit, I love this movie, there was a, like, wandering awareness as someone who doesn't watch a lot of non-genre films of, like, they're making a reference, like, roughly every 45 seconds that I'm not catching.
And, like, that's where, like, the thanks sort of comes into play, because, like, we identified this a while ago as a movie that we actually could have covered on Fried Squirms and never got a chance to. We actually realized the entire Cornetto trilogy we were able to cover on Fried Squirms and never got a chance to.
Well, and you and I have talked about doing the Cornetto trilogy since literally the first, like, one of the first things that came up was talking about doing these movies.
So I was like, oh,
I probably will finish it off. I did end up watching the Shaun of the Dead as well.
See, Shaun of the Dead got mentioned a bunch of times.
Shaun of the Dead got mentioned a bunch of times. I feel like it's one that I've watched a lot. I feel like it's one that I've watched every year almost since it came out.
I think Shaun of the Dead gets the most credit because it was the first of them, so it was like more unexpected.
I love
also the
World's End.
And see, that's the one that I've seen the least, and I'm excited to rewatch it. Out of curiosity, when was the last time you guys watched Shaun of the Dead?
2012, probably. Like, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
However many months ago it was that I got my 4K Cornetto trilogy.
Okay,
yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
So would I, if that were the case.
I rewatched it. I'll just dip into my ingesting, because that's part of my ingesting this week. Was I finished Hot Fuzz, and then it auto played Shaun of the Dead, and I was like, well, fuck me, let's do it, baby. And it just played, and I was like, holy fuck, this movie is a lot more horrific than I remembered it being. It's funny. There's funny bits in it, but holy shit, is it depressingly horrific.
My favorite part of that fact, and yeah, you're right, that movie, like, goes balls to the wall, is that movie exists because they had been doing the show Space together. Nick Frost, I'm blanking everyone else's name, even though I know
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost,
and the director.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. They'd all been doing Space together, and there's an opening to one episode of Space, which is another one I've always wanted to do, because I fucking love Space.
And I've never watched it, and I really want to.
The first 2 episodes are actively bad. Every other episode is gold.
Okay.
At least that's how I remember it. But where Simon Pegg's character has been staying up all night taking speed, and then he's playing Resident Evil 2 and has started hallucinating. And so they do a little zombie intro thing, and they were like, that was fun. What if we just did that as a movie?
And they do an incredible job.
They do such a good job.
I forgot how fucking gory the dismemberment of, what is his name?
All of them.
Well, all of them, but like...
Oh, specifically the dude that was in love with...
Yes. He gets pulled through the window, and you just see him get, like, fucking... his arms ripped off, his legs ripped off, his head ripped off, him ripped to shreds, viscera thrown back in, Diane pulling the fucking leg back out, opening the door and running into the zombies to beat them to death with his dismembered leg, thinking she can save him. And then I also forgot about the ending of it, like the newsreel ending, that like, and like the, I think 6 months later to it all. Like I vaguely remembered it, but I didn't.
Have always found that a bit of a letdown, but in fairness, how the fuck do you do a 6 months later?
upon spoilers for fucking Shaun of the Dead, but upon rewatch, it made it more. I've never actually contextualized the movie with knowing how it ends and seeing that stuff of like
It's kind of horrific that they just go back down to normal life afterwards.
they go back down to normal life, and a lot of zombies are just kept as people that are like they still remember who they are and what they do, and like Ed's still fucking basically Ed. He still wants to eat people, but like Sean shot his mom in the fucking head. I don't remember what happened to the dad. I think they just leave him in the car, so he's maybe still around. But like,
Oh no, he zombies.
Yes,
Philip?
but he's saying
Yeah.
that the zombies have some level of awareness
Oh,
of who
right.
they used to be, which
or-
I'm
or
not sure.
Not
that
even
they
awareness,
do.
but like muscle memory. Like,
I think you are really putting a lot of thought into like a
No, I mean
30
that's classic zombies though. That was Dawn of the Dead. That's why they go back to the mall.
yeah, and like it's very classic zombies. And I just have never I've never really contextualized how dark and how much it goes to that well of darkness because of how funny it's been in previous watches.
Did you ever watch Fido?
I did. I should rewatch that.
Yeah.
I've only watched it once, and
Fido is Billy Connolly, what's his name? Dylan Baker and Carrie Ann Moss. And
I forgot the cast to this movie.
it's after the zombie apocalypse or whatever happens. The way that humans defeated it was by figuring out how to make this collar to like make zombies obedient. So now everybody basically just has like helper zombies or like pet zombies. And Billy Connolly is Fido, who's like this kid zombie, but he starts remembering who he was.
It's great.
Okay.
It's
And
100%
Carrie Ann
worth
Moss
watching.
is his mom. Dylan Baker was his dad?
Yes, if I remember correctly, that sounds right. And there's
I am misremembering who Billy Connolly is, I think.
A Scottish stand-up comic who's most famous in the United States for being Il Duce in Boondock Saints, but he was
He's in
also
Muppet Treasure Island.
yeah, he's also the
okay.
only person to ever die in a Muppet movie.
Okay, fair. I was just wait, Carrie Ann Moss is his mom?
No. So the kid
there's a
has
kid.
Billy Connolly
As a zombie.
As
Okay,
a zombie.
that makes so much
Yeah.
more sense. I'm sorry, I misheard something and I was like, how? Like,
If I remember correctly, does she fuck that zombie?
She might fuck the zombie. I don't remember.
I think it might be alluded to. I don't think
Jesus,
they definitely
Carrie Ann Moss.
they don't show it, but I think it might be alluded that she fucks the zombie.
Every character you play is a weird pervert. My God.
And I feel like the
Well,
zombie
the zombie becomes like his stepdad by the end of the movie.
basically because he's really good at fucking. If I remember correctly,
It's been a while since I've watched it.
it's
but
been a very long while since I've watched it. It's been at least 10 years since I've watched this movie. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead, I've watched it a lot. And for some reason, this one was the one where I was like, I see all of the jokes and they're funny, but also at the same time, this movie's really, really fucking dark and sad.
Oh, before we jump full into ingesting, even though we already kind of did, I thought it'd be fun to list off some of the other, not all of them, because we got a bunch of recommendations.
And a bunch
But-
of them are a lot more obvious Halloween than this one.
Sure. But just stuff that people suggested that are kind of fun.
We got some good ones.
Scooby-Doo came up a lot, the live-action Scooby-Doo.
Which-
and
Will be fun. We'll get to it one of these days for
it
sure.
came really close to winning.
If not just planning on it for like Halloween next year.
yeah.
Literally, the only reason a Hot Fuzz won is because Tyler and I were like, Hot Fuzz sounds like 4% better right now. So, like, literally in this exact moment.
Yeah. It's like while I'm walking down the hallway at work.
Yeah, you two talked to each other in a hallway in a conversation I wasn't there for, and you were like, Hot Fuzz, Scooby-Doo. And I was like, in the text thread, I'm like, Scooby-Doo, yes, please. I'm here for Scooby-Doo. and then you're all like, we kind of like Hot Fuzz. It's like, Hot Fuzz it is.
But let's see. My stepmom just sent me a listicle of all the famous horror movies of all time, and I was like, I don't think any of these are. I mean, thank you, Patty, very much, but I don't think Amityville Horror is underrated.
No.
No, I think it's rated perfectly where it's at.
The Babysitter, don't know what that is.
Wait, what? If it's the Netflix one, it actually is probably underrated.
It just says The Babysitter. No, this is other ones. This is not the list.
Oh,
but
that
I
was
just
Jamal's pick. It is actually great. It's a duology directed by McGee.
Oh, okay.
All the Treehouse of Horror episodes, which would be a lot.
There's a ton of them, but
There's
they are
30 something.
fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the person who said that one said any of the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
This just says the Treehouse of Horror episodes, but that's on me.
That also, yeah.
Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead,
All fun.
Monster Squad, Ginger Snaps.
Monster Squad was my number 2 pick.
Monster Squad came up like 4 times.
Monster Squad was a fan favorite for a lot of people in the kitchen, and then also I was pretty down for it.
Fucking Wolfman's got nards.
I thought that was going to win until you guys were like narrowed it down to these two, and I'm like, well,
I could also feel I think that one might have been because it wasn't streaming somewhere
okay.
or as easily streamable.
How High came up because it technically takes place during Halloween.
Which, like, if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, then How High's a Halloween movie, and I'm gonna watch it this month
Just because of that.
just because of that.
Yo, it's been like a decade since I've watched How High.
I've
Like,
watched
I'm
it for
about
420
this.
recently.
Probably since
it's
college
pretty
at the
great.
latest.
It's
Like,
fun. It's a good time.
Dawn of the Dead, The Craft, Werewolf by Night, Shaun of the Dead, Practical Magic, The Addams Family, 1977 TV Halloween special. Might not be 77, but it's the 70s.
I mean, I'm in that for John Aston, but
Yeah, love you some John.
I think I've watched it before. It's actually very good.
Tyler suggested Attack of the Block, which is funny because we've done Attack of the Block.
But did I do it with you?
No, you did not. I mostly remember it because, like, I was like, this is a really good movie. I'm having a great time. And John Boyega's like, I'm actually 15. I'm like, I can no longer take this movie seriously.
I couldn't remember which pod I did that for.
No,
so.
it's fine. It is. We've also done a lot of these. But it's just...
I was about to say, as you're naming horror movies, I'm like, okay, I've talked about that one. Yep, I've done that.
We could always just do it if I've never done it.
We've also done... it was also suggested to do all the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Halloween episodes. But I'm not sure if Tyler's ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And only a few random scattered episodes.
And given the further they go in that series, the less related to Halloween they are. Well, it's immediately not related to Halloween because it's...
And some of the giant plot moves that happened in some of the later Halloween ones. It would have been a really weird, like, here's how we're introducing you to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Did anybody recommend the zombie paintball community episode?
Ooh, that's a great episode.
No. Odd. All the other all the other sitcom Halloween shit came up.
I feel like Community did come up, but it may never made its way. I may have forgotten it.
Well, that one's not explicitly Halloween.
Disney
It's
show?
just explicitly zombies.
A Disney show called, like, Wrapped or something like that?
Oh, that was me, dog. I brought up Under Wrapped.
Mm.
Under Wraps, I can't remember if it's plural.
It's a Halloween mummy
Which
movie.
isn't streaming at the moment. You can only watch it on cable subscription because of, like, licensing for cable subscription. So Disney remade it, like a newer version of it, so they could put it on Disney Plus. Basically, kids find a mummy, and the mummy comes back to life, and they gotta get him back to his sarcophagus so he doesn't die.
So is Frosty the Snowman with a mummy?
Yes.
Oh, and then because our buddy Sam did not understand the assignment when we asked her what is an underrated Halloween special, she recommended spiced cider.
Well, we did frame it as Halloween classic.
Oh, okay, that's it.
They didn't.
What's an underrated Halloween classic? And she's just like, spiced cider warmed up. I'm like, well, okay, so you're not wrong.
Hot spice cider. I was like, actually, fuck me. I would love to. I would love to drink that with any Halloween movie. In all honesty,
This sounds great right now.
It did make me think of the neighbors that we used to have had an orchard that they were out of town for like the whole fall. So they're like, pick all the apples. And my in-laws just made like gallons and gallons of apple wine, which gets very alcoholic very fast. And it's
very alcoholic, very fast. You can make Applejack with it too, which is fun.
pretty similar. And it kind of tasted like paint thinner with apples involved. but
with
like,
apples involved.
it didn't taste like paint thinner, but I bet you could peel paint off the walls with it.
Fair.
Just thinking of underrated Halloween classics right there.
And another one that didn't make it to the text thread but did get mentioned was Casper. But then they followed it up with like, okay, but that one's actually not as underrated, and I do want to recommend Casper and Wendy, which is the like direct-to-video sequel that has a young Hilary Duff playing Wendy the Good Witch. And I was like, mad respect. Seen it many times. I like this pick.
Movies like Casper always weird me out because there's the moment where, like, they're now hot and alive and showing up to take so-and-so to the dance, but, like, when you watch it as an adult, you're like, both of you are 12. Like,
I think it's a pretty universal fact that, like, ghosts are fuckable. Like, real hot.
Sure, but I remember watching it because the last time I watched Casper, originally watched Casper, I was, like, 5 or 6, so I was just like, grown-ups, and then watching it not that many years later being like, oh, okay.
Y'all are young as hell.
That's a movie that, like, in retrospect, has a lot of adult humor in it that, like, I did not understand as a child, and I'm like, it doesn't play in the same way that certain movies that are trying to do all-audience humor. And I like, why did I enjoy that movie as a kid? What about it was good?
Ghosts.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
The ghosts were pretty funny.
Yeah. Brothers being mean to their other brother. Yeah, I get that.
So do we have any, like, quick
Ingestings?
It's also been a weird week because we recorded last week instead of, like, 2 weeks in between. And I was watching a bunch of Farscape. So, like, most of our shit is stuff that's coming up later, or we talked about and you'll hear about next week.
I still haven't watched any of the Farscape we need to watch
Well,
yet.
luckily you got 2 weeks to save yourself.
I do. I'm very fortunate on that. I know what I ingested, and most of it's spoopy season related. Save for I did go see Howl's Moving Castle in theaters. They were showing it for Ghibli Fest.
Classic.
Nice.
So great. My partner hadn't seen it before, which is surprising because I really love it and I have it on Blu-ray, and I was showing her a bunch of stuff, so I figured I would have shown it to her. That's the only thing I've watched since we recorded last that wasn't spoopy. I watched Happy Death Day.
Okay.
Groundhog's Day slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
With
I keep meaning to watch it. I've heard only great things about it, but I haven't made the time
both
yet.
of them are on Peacock, and I highly recommend them. And then I've did a double feature. Actually, I did a triple feature that day. I did Happy Death Day. I did Happy Death Day to You, the sequel, which is
You would have to name it that way.
Right.
Like that's...
which they give themselves the chance to basically do the same mechanics, but basically alternate dimension, like kind of change stuff, so they can like actually explain some more of it and do stuff differently if they wanted to. Very fun, very worth watching. And then I went and saw House Moving Castle, so that was a triple feature day for me. And then I halfway slept through Urban Legends. Great nap movie. Great horror movie to nap through. Couldn't tell you what happened because I was napping. I also started...
I love Urban Legend.
I will probably actually watch it awake. But I also started The X-Files again.
Oh.
The first season. Fucking beautiful Monster of the Week series.
I have always meant to actually give the X-Files a shot because Cece's a big fan.
Oh, you guys should try. You should watch it.
And she's like, I don't think you would like it because I don't usually like horror stuff. But oddly, for someone who doesn't like horror, I really do love Monster of the Week. So, like, and that's where I think I can, like...
And I feel like especially the first 5 seasons, the first early seasons, you'll like it.
Do the first 5 seasons of Supernatural as well. And then forget about the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
5 seasons is a good mark right there.
That's actually where Smallville went fully off the rails too. So like
knowing what I know about
Game of Thrones.
and your level of like not liking horror stuff, I feel like you would actually like jive with the Monster a Week stuff.
It's kind of where
it's more Twilight Zone-y, suspensey, kind of like what if. Than it is like...
I like weird cryptids and shit. I like Monster of the Week, so I think that falls more under...
Like, I just watched an episode that has it starts out where Mulder's like, fucking Jersey Devil? And it does not turn out to be the Jersey Devil. It turns out to be weird, lost, fucking Neanderthal, basically, that's been living in the Jersey woods.
In fairness, the Jersey Pine Barrens are like fucking every tree is haunted. Like,
Yeah.
Right, yeah. But like they're fucking weird. They also just did a complete like, hey, what if we just did The Thing? You know the
the movie The Thing, yeah. I do love the meme
fucking
of like
dog, aliens, everything. It's just like, hey, what if we put Mulder and Scully in The Thing?
I do love the meme of like, well, it looks like this man's been stabbed to death repeatedly. Mulder, have you ever heard the legend of the knife stab hand man?
Like seriously, I do think you would actually legitimately enjoy it. And then I also I watched Shaun of the Dead in tandem with viewing of Hot Fuzz. And then I rewatched Hot Fuzz, and then I rewatched Hot Fuzz, and then I watched The Wicker Man for the first time in a few years last night.
Classic Wicker Man, you were telling me?
Classic Wicker Man.
Christopher Lee in a dress Wicker Man?
Christopher Lee in a dress Wicker Man. I forgot about how much nudity is in that movie.
Yeah.
And like, not sexy nudity?
No. No.
So I remember, I get why I don't remember it.
You're like, those are tits I can forget.
Yeah.
That's some stuff I'm gonna file away to not remember. But it was great to rewatch it because I kind of had forgotten about like the whole twist of it. I knew the twist, but I forgot about the whole twist of it. So, but yeah, that's what I've been ingesting.
Oh yeah. I don't have a lot this time.
No, that's fine.
Oh, actually, I forgot 2 things. I've been watching Gilmore Girls and What We Do in the Shadows with my partner. That's
Nice.
it.
See, I technically mentioned on our trailers episode, but I want to bring it up one more time because I was pleasantly surprised at like, I don't know, there was a part that I remembered as being worse than it was. The movie Murder by Death, 1976 mystery parody. It's okay. I also want to bring it up because it is one of the most loaded fucking casts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, Murder by Death with Maggie Smith. We did talk about this.
Yes, I did it because of the Maggie Smith passing.
Yes.
However, let's see, where to even start? Like, it's one of the few movies that Truman Capote himself shows up in. It was written by Neil Simon, who did The Odd Couple. The opening credit sequence is done by Charles Addams of the Addams Family fame. It stars... Okay, so the plot is a eccentric millionaire invites the world's best detectives to his mansion to solve a murder that's going to take place that night.
I've seen this once before. I was getting really into murder mystery like storytelling, and it was a thing that I had read about being a parody of a bunch of them, so I was interested in watching it. I remember it being fucking funny.
Yeah. So the parody comes into play because all the different detectives that show up are parodies of the famous detectives. So you have David Niven and Maggie Smith playing Dick and Dora Charleston instead of Nick and Nora Charles. You have James Coco playing Milo Perrier instead of
Hercule Poirot.
Yep.
Who is one of my favorite literary characters of all time. I fucking love Poirot.
And James Cromwell in his first film role as his chauffeur.
He's Captain Hastings?
Yeah, or in this, he's Marcel Cassette.
Okay.
You have Peter Falk playing Sam Diamond instead of Sam Spade from the Maltese Falcon.
All right.
Fine.
But because he's playing Sam Spade, he's basically just playing fucking Columbo.
Yeah, okay. One more thing.
Elsa Lancaster as Jessica Marbles.
Mrs. Marple.
Yep.
I've actually read despite loving Agatha Christie. That's always weird.
I've seen a couple episodes of it, of the show they made, and it's very fun. It's a murder mystery show.
Nancy Walker plays the deaf mute cook Yetta. Her name might not be as familiar, but she was pretty important back in the day as well. She's more famous for directing. She directed a lot of episodes of like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but most of the shows she directed and was behind the scenes on, she would also do recurring roles on. So she pops up in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I probably remember her most from showing up on Rhoda, the spinoff, because I watched all of those on Nick at Night back in the day. Alec Guinness as the butler, James Sir Benson mum. But the part that I was surprised actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be was Peter Sellers as Inspector Sidney Wang.
Ooh.
That's some yellow face, isn't it?
Yeah, Peter Sellers is in yellowface the entire movie, which I was like, oh no. It's been a while since I watched this movie. How bad is this? They're doing the same joke as like Mel Brooks being native in Blazing Saddles. They're intentionally pointing out that like in that point in history, Charlie Chan had never been played by an Asian man. And they actually take the time to point out like, why are you doing that accent? You grew up here and shit like that. Like,
okay, so maybe not amazing, but not as bad as
right. I think it's as good as they were going to get away with in 76.
yeah, okay. Boy.
You know what I mean? Like they did the progressive thing for 76.
It's like how Blazing Saddles isn't really it's really a good satire for its time.
But in 2024, there's some bits where you're like,
ooh, yeah, that's a little sticky, but also gotta remember, it is a satire.
So yeah, I was pretty happy that like Peter Sellers and Yellowface didn't ruin it. I was just like, oh, wait, no, they're making this meta. I get what they're doing.
Nice.
Just because you've mentioned Nick and Nora Charles there, I've always wanted to do a Thin Man episode too.
This is at least the third time you've mentioned it.
Yeah, I know, and we've still not done it, so I keep mentioning it.
And then the only other thing is like we've talked behind the scenes. We've brought it up on the show that we're planning at some point to do a wrestling episode. And it got me curious because I like watching reaction videos anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I have watched like the 1998 Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell probably like 8 or 9 times in the past week alone.
Well, it's a heavy duty Hell in a Cell, so
it's been amazing. It made my fucking day. I went to work and I was telling everybody, I'm like, guys, you don't know. 1998 Hell in a Cell, it's so good.
So we're not going to go too deep into this one because we have the idea of making Steven watch this and then
going into the rest of the wrestling.
Doing a reaction thing kind of for it. It's not a great wrestling match in its own right.
How did I miss this was the plan?
Oh, because we didn't tell you yet.
Okay.
We were just going to kind of sit you down and be like, we're doing a bonus episode. Let's go. But,
sort of to kick off whenever we do the wrestling.
The wrestling.
Okay.
But it is, as Cece pointed out, because we've shown it to a few people, it's a great one to show when people are like, wrestling's fake, right? And then you show them that and they're like, okay.
How is that poor man
alive? Straight up. If I literally, without giving away too much, one of the things he told Undertaker was, if I'm still conscious, I will come back.
Jesus Christ.
It might have moved me to tears a couple times in all those rewatches.
Listening to Foley talk about it is fascinating. Foley.
I think it's one of the greatest moments we have like documented on film of people doing something for the love of their art and for the love of their sport.
And the hatred of their body. Yeah, no, that's Mick Foley in a nutshell.
That is Mick Foley's entire career in a nutshell as well.
I love him so much. He's such a lunatic. It actually kind of ties into one of mine because the reason why there's been so much Hell in a Cell stuff lately, and they've been releasing a bunch of old school Hell in a Cell fights.
Oh, one
YouTube,
just happened, yeah? CM Punk and
Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
So Bad Blood is the most recent WWE event. Both of my two things are wrestling. Surprise.
Shocking.
I had someone recently be like, yeah, that's Zach, the wrestling guy. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Like,
That's weird.
I mean, it wasn't a person that knew me very well, but it was someone through phone fighting.
Oh, okay.
They did not know I was the comic book guy. They thought I was just the wrestling guy. And I'm like,
You're like, oh no, that's new.
oh, okay, I gotta get those balances going again. Like,
Gotta get the comic book cred. Can't let that lag.
But because they're doing a Hell in a Cell and they've decided Hell in a Cell got kind of goofy for a while there, from what I understand. Like, we're doing an entire event of nothing but Hell in a Cells, and it just kind of lost the like. This is supposed to be super dangerous, so they were really putting a lot of effort into making it seem hardcore again, and CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did a real good fucking job with that.
Real quick question, since you're the one that currently still watches wrestling.
Yes.
Obviously, there's the Hell in the Cell match, which was an evolution from the older cage matches.
They do still do cage matches.
That's what I was about to ask. Do they still do the old school
Yeah,
cage
they
matches?
did cage matches a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
So, cage match, they put a cage around the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost right up against the apron.
It's real close up against the apron, and the top is uncovered, which means almost inevitably the bad guys' douchey friends, because all the bad guys have douchey friends, will run up and climb up over the cage and jump in and fuck around with you, and then you're stuck with like 4 of them in there. The idea of Hell in a Cell is that there is the cage is a little bigger, so you can get out of the main ring itself.
But still be in the cage.
It would still be in the cage.
Yeah.
They hide a bunch of shit under the ring, and you're like, why are there so many tables and kendo sticks down there?
Who just puts a bag of tacks down there?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, wrestling's fucking weird. And then they put a top on it, so you can't have anyone else get in.
Oh, I like that better.
It didn't actually.
Theoretically, you can't have anyone
It didn't
else
actually
get
work
in.
because in the very first Hell in a Cell, Undertaker's brother Kane showed up for the first time and ripped the door off of the cell.
Which I also rewatched that match,
I've
and
never seen it. I've
is
only seen Kane's entrance.
there is an amazing break. I already told you this off mic, but I'll remind you on mic. Taker goes through it with Maven.
Ooh, that I
And explains everything that's going on with it. And it is, by the way, it's by far the better match.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like we've already said, the one that we're going to show Steven isn't a good match. It's just legendary.
It's good show.
It's a good show.
Okay.
So
Okay.
to explain, okay, first of all, I brought over. We had 5 people come over for wrestling. The usual thing, you invite like 4 people over and 2 of them show up. No, I invited 4 people over and they brought someone else with them, which is great. I have 0 complaints about this, but it was a definite like, oh, I have to buy twice as much food as I was planning on. Like, but like, okay, my buddy Malark, who does Art of Wargaming, never watched wrestling, never was interested in watching wrestling, would always make Hulk Hogan references when I would mention I was watching wrestling, and I was finally like, okay, you need to come watch with me so we can at least get you into the 90s with your references here. And apparently he watched Glorious Ladies of Wrestling on Netflix, and that's what got him willing to do it. But
Very good.
it was fun because Malark is like, he's kind of a very formal, like kind of uptight guy. And he's just like sitting there, like very like, should I be cheering? Oh, that was very violent. He does
Your impression is delightful. It's charming.
He's one of my oldest friends in the world. He does 2 podcasts. One is reading old war texts, and the other is literally about being a Catholic. And then I'm like, Drew McIntyre.
Drew.
So, kind of my example. Well, I'm not going to go too far into this, but kind of my example of why wrestling is better than anything you love. To borrow actually a John Oliver quote. It's so stupid, and everything that is like super important when you're 12 years old is just ratcheted up to like 18. But giant grown men fighting over it, and then fireworks. So
Okay, so every time you say giant grown men, you say that when we talk about, or something in that vague context when we talk about wrestling, it makes me think of I think it's a TikTok or like a Instagram reel or something, and it's like three wrestlers, and they're talking about
it's the New Day. I know the exact one you're talking about, and the guy you're talking about is named Big E, going, big meaty men slapping meat.
yep, it just plays in my brain.
So what it is they were asked what is Big E is like a big dude. He was the big dude of this 3-person tag team called the New Day. And he was asked what his dream match was, and he's like, Goldberg! I want nothing but Goldberg! You guys want your flips? You want your aerial moves and high class? No! I want big meaty men slapping meat! They're like, okay, what would be a 3-way match then? 3 Goldbergs! And the amount that CC and I use big meaty men slapping meat.
Well, why wouldn't you at that point?
Like,
Big meaty men slapping meat.
but
is
Big E, who is fucking massive,
Oh, he's a fucking Hulk of a man.
he's not even that big for wrestlers.
But like he's built.
Yes. His arms are like as wide as my torso. But you know, like Undertaker was fucking 6'7". There's a guy named Amos that's 7'3" that fights.
Holy
Like,
shit. That's a tall person.
What's the stats on Big Show? He's not as
just
tall as some of the
under
others, but he's
7 feet, but he was huge. I watched between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed last week. Between the two men, there was 800 pounds of dude in that ring.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
That's a lot of dude.
But so like to get the like, yes, huge, big meaty men slapping meat. But then you have Drew McIntyre, this incredibly like overly serious angry Scotsman character, and CM Punk, who exists, but a lot of people love him. They got into a fucking 9-month fight that for like 3 months it was over a friendship bracelet.
I'm assuming this is like meta drama that's happening outside of the ring that's 9 months long, not them being in the ring for 9 months and they're just like
Yeah, no,
over a
it's
friendship.
They did
it's
3
feud.
matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back in January, Drew McIntyre accidentally, legitimately injured CM Punk.
Oh shit.
It happens. And so they turned that into a like almost year-long rivalry.
Mm.
And at one point, just to be a jerk, Drew McIntyre steals this bracelet that a fan made CM Punk that had the name of his wife and his dog on it. And it's literally like a friendship bracelet, like the little colorful beads and stuff. But they became obsessed with this. And they're like going back and forth. And like at one point, Drew McIntyre snaps the bracelet and shoves the bits in CM Punk's mouth. And like, it's really dumb, but it's also better than almost anything else on TV if you like watch it the right way. And then at the end of the Hell in the Cell, they've been beating each
God,
other.
I want to know so much how much of that is like a bit. Like,
It's not always clear.
Like, and I know, like, or at least I want to know the impetus of the bracelet because
A real life fan gave him this bracelet, and I don't know if they were like, "Oh, you should take the bracelet and we can use that," or if Drew McIntyre literally was just like, "Fine,"
and then it became something from there, or if it just was something that they thought of doing once they got the bracelet.
About
it's
not liking each other. I can't tell if they actually dislike each other and are just turning it up for the show, or if they're like playing it up because it's not always clear.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of this Hell in a Cell, and they've literally been like hitting each other with wrenches after the match.
Huh.
Drew McIntyre had to get 14 staples, like because of all the bleeding.
I don't like that,
Dude, and this is not the Violent Company. AEW goes fucking nuts.
Yikes! I don't like that.
In AEW, someone recently got stabbed in the mouth with a syringe. That one's a little far for me. Like, but
What was in the syringe?
nothing.
Unlike most pulp heroes.
But it's upsetting. I've seen it.
That's upsetting because that's also kind of dangerous.
Yeah, no, it's rough. But at the end of the Hell in a Cell, CM Punk pulls it up and you're like, haha, he's got to do the tats. And then he opens it up and it's literal beads from the friendship bracelet. And instead, and they're like throwing each other and like shoving handfuls of friendship bracelet beads into like Drew's mouth as he falls. And you're like, this should not be as fun as it is. Oh my God.
Oh, that's great. No, I had actually heard, I caught some buzz online about after it happened. That it was a pretty good Hell in a Cell, yeah.
Or like Rhea Ripley had another match and Dom Mysterio was stuck in a shark cage above it for reasons unknown.
For reasons.
The Rock shows up at the end of it again and literally doesn't say a word, just like threatens them with his eyes and leaves. And you're like, oh, that was fun. That was, but then the other thing coming up, so that was Saturday, it's Monday now. Tomorrow, Cece and I are driving to Spokane to watch our first live in-person wrestling show.
I didn't realize that was coming up so soon.
Neither did we until a couple of days ago. But, that's AEW. That's the more violent company. Most of it is not syringes in the mouth. That was I think they call them Texas Deathmatch, where it's literally just like, do whatever the fuck you want, man. But we've been watching, because we don't watch AEW, we've been watching matches with people who are going to be on that show just to get a better idea of who they are. Although we might start watching some AEW because they just made a deal with Max that they will be streaming everything on there. And I'm not going to add another wrestling show to my week because that's just too fucking much wrestling. But I'm going to watch some like pay-per-views and shit.
Yeah, there you go. This does remind me, on top of just watching that Hell in the Cell, I did watch a few of Maven's other videos. Not all of them seem interesting, but there was a couple of them where like ranking the most painful finishers he took from people.
Maven's interesting because he got a job through a reality show or something like that.
And I've been enjoying his content because he's the first one to point out that like some of these experiences might be different for me because they were treating me different than most of the other recruits when they come in because I didn't come in the traditional way.
So he got kind of shot to the moon pretty fast. Yeah, no, he had a weird career, but like he's talented from what I've seen, and he seemed to get along with people, which is fun.
Yeah.
And he's a lot, because he's no longer really wrestling, he's a lot more willing to like criticize wrestling where it deserves criticism, because a lot of wrestlers, once they can't really wrestle anymore, will go do podcasts or YouTube shows or whatever, and like they're usually pretty fun and interesting, so more power to it. But the people who have actually left the wrestling business are sometimes more fun because they're like, hey, that's fucked up.
They've been through it enough that they know what's actually going on, but can now actually say what they want to say.
Yeah.
I feel like he still holds back a little bit in some places, but
because he still makes money around wrestling. But
he can't get himself completely fucking ousted.
But it has been interesting. Even like I didn't even watch this video, but just like looking through some of what he's done, and it's like, this is how I fucked up and lost all my money. Oh, shit. And I'm like, wow, if you're willing to be that honest, like, cool, I'm going to check out some more of your content.
Ronda Rousey's been really hard on wrestling, although she did some interviews where she's like, no, I love wrestling, I just fucking hated Vince McMahon. And I'm like, valid. Like, oh man, that Vince documentary came out, and I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like for the most part, and I have sympathy, that documentary was shot before the recent allegations came out. So they were trying to do a like, yeah, he's kind of a shithead, but like here's some interesting stuff that happened, and here's how he's a complicated figure. And then all of that shit came out. They're like, well, I guess we're redoing the last episode.
Yeah, and I've been catching there's some kind of weirdly glaring omissions where people are like, maybe you guys should just redo the doc at this point because like this is interesting and gave us more info, but like now we know the depth of the info that there's to be had, and there's some people you guys should have talked to.
Unless you're promising to do a part 2 of your series, because like you already filmed it, and I get like when doing something you already filmed, but like set up something more if you're gonna.
So if you don't know, Vince McMahon was the guy who owned WWE and basically made wrestling what it is today.
He's arguably one of the most important figures in sports entertainment in America.
I would say he's the most important figure. I mean, he coined sports entertainment. Now, admittedly,
I don't know wrestling, and I know of this figure.
He coined sports entertainment because he wanted to get around not being allowed to give them drugs.
Gross.
He got in a lot of trouble for the steroid trials, so he was one of the first people to be like, this shit is fake. I am not actually violating any sports laws.
Right.
This is sports entertainment, not sports.
I mean, yeah. But also, still, you shouldn't be doing that.
He's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if all of the modern allegations were untrue, which I don't think they are, that dude sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought he was a good person.
Turns out he sucks.
I do like it in there because he had a character of Mr. McMahon, which was like the evil mastermind. And the funny thing is, from what I've seen of the doc, he's like, I'm not really Mr. McMahon. I'm Vince. They're completely different. They're completely different stuff. And everyone else, including his son, is like, oh yeah, they're the same person. Just Mr. McMahon is a little more open about it. Like, I think that's it. Like, okay, now that we've gone way farther in wrestling than I meant to, shocking. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, Hot Fuzz.
Yarp.
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 Yarp. Okay.
Dude, I legitimately do that at work to respond to
lot.
people. A lot. And people don't actually, I don't think people actually get the reference I'm making. It's like, Narp.
Narp.
They understand that I'm responding, but they don't get the reference.
So, I haven't seen this movie in, I would guess, 10 years. Not like avoiding it, or just, it got... And Cece had never seen this movie before. And I'm always a little nervous for a couple reasons. One, when we pick a movie that I know that we all really like already, and then I go sit down to watch it critically, and, like... The Crow doesn't super work for me anymore after this. Especially watching it with Cece, who did not have that, like...
The nostalgia.
Yeah, the nostalgia for it. And yes, I still love The Crow. But, like... So I was so excited to sit down and watch that one with her. And I was like, this fucking rules. And then I was like, no. It does sort of rule. But man, this movie has a lot of flaws. Like, so I was just, like... kind of white knuckling it when we first turned on this movie, being like, please. And then this movie is so much better than I remember it being, and I already remember it being the best of the three. I know you really love End of the World, and I'm not.
Yeah,
but like,
no. I get why this one is generally considered to be the best three. I honestly think that this one is probably overall the best of the three. I just really like World's End.
I'm excited to rewatch World's End because it's been a minute since I've watched that. I think it might be one that doesn't get considered. How much of a break in between?
Oh, between the two movies?
Between the two movies.
Oh, yeah, so...
because, like, it was Shaun of the Dead, and then he did Hot Fuzz.
But
like,
those happened within, like, 2 years of each other. They
and
did,
then,
like, one and the other.
There's a huge break between Hot Fuzz and World's End, where he has a lot of time to refine his skill. He makes Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Mm-hmm.
He starts making Ant-Man.
Was Baby Driver before or
I think that's after.
He's also still making music videos, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look at his like Wikipedia to see what he's doing. But like
these movies put him on the map. So suddenly
these movies put him on the map, and he was able to do more stuff now.
I think World's End is just the most emotionally complicated and mature of the three.
Yes. And I think of the three, the most succinctly able to tell a story that is also a parody of other storytelling, but still be its own story onto itself.
So the time difference between them, though, was really pointed out to me when I realized this gave me a good excuse. This morning when I rewatched Hot Fuzz, I actually watched it with one of the commentary tracks.
Oh, nice.
There's like 5 commentary tracks on that disc. I kind of want to listen to them all.
I somehow don't have a physical copy of this, and I'm really fucking mad about it.
Wait, how do I have this on DVD and you don't?
I have all of the other Cornetto movies, but I don't have this. I have them on Blu-ray and DVD, and I don't have this on either. And I'm like, what the fuck, Steven?
So I listened to the one with Wright and Peg talking.
Okay.
There's a ton of them. But I was like, they're the 2 writers. I'm like, I might get the most out of this one. I almost listened to the Wright with Quentin Tarantino does a commentary, which is the only one that he does a commentary with someone not involved in the making of the movie, which kind of stood out to me. And I almost listened to that one instead. But
I'm glad you went with the one that you did for this, but I am fascinated.
Yeah. And like there's a part where they're like when you see the blue Cornetto wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, we had already done Red and Shaun of the Dead because, Red and blood. So we did blue because of police for this one. I guess if we ever do a third one, we're going to have to do the mint green one. We're just going to figure out what green is for.
That's great.
I will argue you a little bit on your like that, and I don't know, I mean, maybe that one does stand better as a movie alone, non-parody, like you were saying. But as someone who does not watch basically any of the movies that any of these movies are based off of, I did have the thought while watching this, like, man, there's a whole layer of like humor that is just going right over my head. Because I'm not catching references, but like, we don't watch action comedies or thrillers, and
you don't watch action
CC
comedies or
and I.
thrillers.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but Cece and I don't watch action comedies or thrillers. One, Cece has not laughed that hard at a movie in a long fucking time, and that consistently through a movie.
Hell yeah!
And like this movie, if I had never seen an action like cop movie before, stands up perfectly well on its own as a movie in its own rights, which is part of what's so impressive about it. Like it would have been so easy to lean on, references, and they do a good job of the most over the top references to other movies. They show us short clips of those movies to make us be like, haha, they're doing the thing.
If y'all only watched it once, you need to get her to watch it again, like right now. Because this is one of those movies that very much benefits from multiple watch throughs. Because I'm going to look this up real quick. But like, other than just the cast, the script fucking supervisors on this movie need to get maybe the biggest fucking shout outs.
It's incredible. As well as just like, also just like, the amount of set decoration that I'd noticed rewatching that I like, holy shit, you guys already had printed in the final fight scene, the big shootout. I realized that they had reprinted the Romeo and Juliet posters and had them all hanging in the windows already with the 2 actors who should have been cast. And I'm like, holy
shit, I didn't.
Holy fuck, you guys already had that already?
Fucking okay.
Yeah, everything that happens in this movie is set up by something in the background.
Huh. I'm not surprised by that. Like, I've seen it enough that I start to see things, but
even like the dude sword fighting at the end, the very first time you see him, he's asleep in front of the fireplace. Above the fireplace is the crossed swords.
Lord, okay.
Like everything's set up.
Everything is set up. You want to be a big cop in a small town? Go to fucking have it out at the miniature.
And then they go and have it out of the miniature.
Right now. That actually is time to think. Theory. Untitled Goose Game is a Hot Fuzz adaptation.
You're just the swan?
Yes. There is a swan causing havoc in a small town, and the climax of the game/movie happens in a miniature village of this tiny village.
I love it. I haven't finished it, but I played a little bit of it. It's such a good game.
The final stage is in a mini village.
That's fucking great.
I think Ruth Atkinson, I believe, was the main script supervisor on it.
Yeah.
So she was the one mainly in charge of keeping track of continuity.
They did an incredible job. Can we also just talk about how fucking stacked this cast is?
So stacked.
With people who go on to be incredibly famous, as well as just like currently incredibly famous people.
One of the jokes, I didn't quite catch this my first time watching this movie, because as an American, we were introduced to these actors much differently.
Mm-hmm.
But there's even
Harry
a
Potter,
joke.
Doctor Who.
No, there's even a joke at play with when he's still at the London Metro Department and who his supervisors are.
Yeah.
Martin
Because
Freeman, who was basically that same character, but in The Office.
But in 2008, Martin Freeman would have been just a little bit better known than Simon Pegg, but not as much as once he goes up the ladder to Steve Coogan.
I don't know him.
But in the UK, he was much bigger at that time.
And that's why I know of him, is because I'm, for some reason, familiar with British comedy.
And then Bill Nighy.
And then going up to Bill Nighy. The whole joke is you're going gradually up the ladder of how famous these people are.
Oh my God.
And in fact, when they offered the role to Steve Coogan, he's like, so he kind of got the joke, and he's like, so Freeman's under me and Nighy's over me? I'm okay with that.
Before we dive too much into the cast, just a fun, quick story. My cat, who's about 9 months old, we realized that, first of all, this little kitten's a shithead, and he's going through a growth spurt, so he's extra shithead lately. And we realized that he had never heard sirens before. When he was hanging out next to the speaker, and this movie starts with a bunch of sirens, and it scared the shit out of him. He was definitely just like, it's coming for me. Oh my God. It's
that is specifically a montage of the different police sirens used through the ages.
Weird.
So like
kind of cool, but
yeah, as it first starts in, it's like the oldest police sirens, and then it ends on the modern.
Holy shit, I didn't realize Peter Jackson was in this.
Yes, he is Saint Nick. In the half a second you see him stabbing that thing through Simon Pegg's hand.
That's Peter Jackson?
Yes.
There's a surprising number of people that are like both like credited and uncredited that are like really fucking famous, and or like people that are like, why are you doing this? Other than like,
because
you're probably
they
friends with all of these people.
They're friends with them, and they liked Shaun of the Dead.
Right.
It kind of depends on who you're talking about, actually. They addressed that in the commentary, and they're like, people are always saying, like, how did you get this person? How did you get that person? Apparently the answer is they went after them extremely hard and, like, wrote very nice letters to them explaining, like, what they were doing, why we want you. Like, Nighy is their friend, but they still had to be like, yo, we know that you're, like, old and busy and super important. And like, here's your role. Here's what we want you to do. We thought of you for this because it's so important, and we want your gravitas in there. And his response was like, write me one more joke.
I love it. I
love Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy, he's so great.
James Broadbent actually went to them after they won the at the BAFTA Awards when they were there for Shaun of the Dead.
Which one's James Broadbent?
He's the new inspector who's
he's the chief inspector in the town.
Nick Frost's dad's
yes
in that.
I hate to use Harry Potter references too often, but he's Professor Slughorn.
Yes.
Thank you. I could not think of his name at this point.
He was also like Time Bandits. He was Diggory Kirk and Lion Witch in the Wardrobe.
He's in fucking everything. Yeah.
Okay, so now that makes me curious because
he was in Paddington.
He came up to them and was like,
"Yes, he is.
Can I be in your next movie?"
Yeah. He loved Shaun of the Dead, and he was the one that approached them like, "I want to be in whatever project you do next."
So good.
What was the deal with Kate Blanchett?
I don't know how they got Kate, but I do know that she's
Janine.
Yeah, the girlfriend and the
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend at the very beginning.
She did donate her day salary.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know how they got her, but like I said,
She liked Shaun of the Dead.
it sounds like for the most part, like they in fact went super hard after these people because they didn't want to resort to having to cast an American as a bumbling FBI agent that is also looking into this. Because that is a trope that occurs with these things when you can't get enough British actors.
Yeah. Wow. That's fucking hilarious.
They've tried real hard to get all the Brits that they could and managed to pretty much do it.
And I mean, they do a great job. They also fucking got Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton might be my favorite part of this movie. Just the sheer amount of, like, scenery chewing joy he has in every moment of, like, every scene that he's in.
Of being the red herring, not red herring of the movie.
Yeah.
It's so fucking delightful.
He is one of the worst James Bonds, but God, I love Timothy Dalton in non-Timothy Dalton. And
Is he one of the worst?
Yeah, he was in. I mean, yes, but
we've mentioned a couple of the people. Let's go through the entire cast. We got Simon Pegg as Nicholas Angel, who is also co-writer on this.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Frost as Police Constable Danny Butterman, the buddy and the buddy cop. We
Nick
mentioned
Frost basically playing himself, which he usually does.
We mentioned Jim Broadbent, Professor Slughorn, right?
Yes, the dad.
Yeah. Patty Considine as Andy Wainwright, one of the Andys. He's probably, oh my God, guys. Holy shit, is he an amazing actor. Apparently the second season went off the rails, but he's a giant part of the first season of House of the Dragon and gives one of the most amazing performances I have seen on television in like the last decade.
Interesting.
He is fucking fantastic. And what's the name of the other Andy? Rafe Spall, if I remember right.
Yeah, I recognize him from something.
There is an interview when they were doing press for this movie that seems to be pretty genuine. They both like to joke around quite a bit, and I believe Patty did an interview completely in character. But at one point, they ask Rafe Spall who his favorite actor is, and he gets like really kind of embarrassed and sheepish, and then admits that it's Patty.
That's cute.
That's delightful.
Timothy Dalton as Simon Skinner, Bill Nighy as Chief Inspector Kenneth, Billy Whitelaw as Joyce Cooper. She's the one that runs the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
She is especially notable for being Mrs. Baylock, the nanny in The Omen.
Oh, fun.
Which means that she's the one that David Tennant was being in Good Omens.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God.
Edward Woodward. God, that's a fun name to say.
Oh, buddy.
Edward Woodward as Tom Weaver. He was the one that he's the member of the NWA that works at the police station.
Yeah, he's like the one watching all the surveillance cameras.
The one with the blunderbuss.
He's the main character in The Wicker Man.
Okay.
Holy shit, I didn't recognize him, and I just watched it. I didn't. Okay.
He looks a lot different old.
I mean, he definitely does, but
he looks a lot different old.
I didn't catch his name in the credits as well when I was paying attention to it. That's okay. That's so fucking great.
Bill Bailey as both of the Sergeants Turner.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's another one that shows up in a lot of Simon Pegg.
Yeah,
things.
And just like everything in that time period comedy in Britain. He's probably best known for Black Books, I would say, but like never mind the Buzzcocks, a lot of appearances on QI, Have I Got News for You, just tons of shit. Love Bill Bailey. David Bradley as Arthur Webley, who was the officer with an impenetrable accent, who is best known probably good old Argus Filch.
Argus Filch was no, that's him.
impenetrable accent. Oh no,
No,
he's
he's
the
the
guy
guy-
that's talking. Yeah,
He
my bad.
also
Yeah.
has an impenetrable
Yeah.
accent. But he's
You're
the guy.
right, yeah.
He's the guy with the gun collection.
He's the guy with the guns that has an impenetrable accent, not the guy who's talking to him with an.
He's the guy. What is his name? David Bradley. He's the guy who has the dog Saxon.
Yes.
And they don't need Saxon; they need him.
Mm-hmm.
Saxon is played by Samson. I don't know if Wikipedia gets into that. By the way,
Wait, hold on. Isn't David Bradley Argus Filch?
Yeah, he's the farmer with the guns. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
David Bradley also more importantly, played the first Doctor in several recreations of Doctor Who since, including with Peter Capaldi.
that's fucking rad.
It's fucking so good.
They had Adam Buxton as Tim Messenger, who's the guy at the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually part of a comedy duo with the filmmaker Joe Cornish. They do Adam and Joe.
Who's also in a cameo, who makes a small cameo role in this movie as well, which I fucking love Joe Cornish as a director. He's fucking, I love pretty much everything he's done.
I know the name, but I don't know.
The only thing I'm thinking of is
Attack the Block.
Attack the Block.
Oh, okay, cool. That gives me
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, The Boy Who Would Be King, which if you haven't seen, it's a fucking delightful Arthurian little adaptation.
All right, we don't need to dive into a list in the middle of this list, but you gave me enough context. Thank you.
Fucking Academy Award winning Olivia Colman.
She's great in this.
She's so fucking dirty in this.
That was
She's
Olivia
so
Colman
dirty.
somehow.
She's so dirty in this. God.
She was in that same episode of Doctor Who that Simon Pegg was in.
Yeah. But what, like Green Wing, Mitchell and Webb?
Oh, I know
Beautiful
there's way more
People.
important things, but
Yeah, Fleabag.
Yeah, Academy Award winner, Best Actress. I think for The Favorite.
Ron Cook is the guy with the house that gets blown up. He's done some interesting things. Not quite as interesting as some of these other people, but that's only because they're like mega stars and he's a star.
I've seen him before.
But yeah, he was in like The Cook, The Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, Thunderbirds, Merchant of
Chocolats.
Venice, yeah, Chocolat.
It's weird if that's where I know him from, because that's the one I know I've seen of those.
Because everybody loves to see chocolate.
Who, god damn it, some of these people. Kenneth Cranham is James Reaper, who's he's the farmer on the NWA board, right?
Yes.
And he was in like Hellraiser 2 and Oliver and Maleficent. Martin Freeman we mentioned. Rory McCann, who's probably best known as the Hound from Game of Thrones. Yep, as Michael Armstrong.
Real hard to take the Hound ever seriously again once I realized who he played in this.
It's so great to know that information. Every time I forget it and get to relearn that information, it's delightful.
Fucking Anne Reed? How did they get Anne Reed? I watch a lot of British shit, and so that's one of those ones where it's like, she was the florist.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Stephen Merchant.
Oh, Stephen Merchant as
Peter Ian Staker.
Piss Taker. That was so good. No, Anne Reed is probably Coronation Street for a long time. She was on there for like 10 years.
Coronation Street's been going forever too.
I think she's did she win a BAFTA for The Mother or something like that? She is legendary over there. And apparently all of the guys on the cast had a fucking crush on her.
I get it.
Because it's Anne Reed.
I get it.
See, there's so many fucking names in this that I am missing people. I know that one of the ladies in this was also in Bond.
Yeah, it's like legitimately everybody in here is notably like in something else.
The crack addict in the opening montage sequence was Garth Jennings, who was the director for Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently Garth Jennings and Edgar Wright are pretty good friends, and they appear in each other's movies like they always do little cameos.
I am gonna say it, the Hitchhiker's Guide movie gets a lot of shit, and it is so much better than its reputation is.
It's fun. I've never interacted with any of the other media in the property. I've never read it. Hitchhikers. I've never watched the show.
It doesn't hurt that I'm not a huge fan of the book. Like, I get why it's important. And also, the author of the book, whose name I'm blanking right now, despite the fact that he's an incredibly important.
Herbert Melville.
Anyways,
I don't know if that's right. I just guessed.
I could, there's like 20 other names to name. I'm not going to go through them all, but I do want to point out, because I didn't know who she was when the first time I watched this movie, but since I have recently watched the series, Alice Lowe, who's the gal sidling up to Timothy Dalton at the supermarket, is in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Fun.
To the manager's office person? Okay.
Basically, everybody, though, on the NWA is like a known actor that they all grew up with in England.
Like, all right, let's get every legend that's just not important enough to say no to us.
And some of them are like like I said, I don't know how you get like Julia Deakin and fucking like Anne Reid and some of these others all together in this movie. It's insane.
It's legitimately fucking stacked with people.
Also, probably one, as we said, Shaun of the Dead had just earned them so much fucking accolades, and then with every person that they have, they can be like, we've got Bob. I forgot, you just gave me so many names, and I came up with Bob. But
so here's the other fun thing. This movie is filmed in Edgar Wright's hometown.
Really?
Tiny little British village.
It's, if I remember right, the town is called Wales, which gets confusing because there is obviously Wales just like a couple hours away. Unless I was misunderstanding him wrong through his accent, I believe that's the name of the town.
Britain is fucking weird, dude.
Wells.
Wells.
It's in Wells. Wells is the smallest city in England, legally. Like, all the things that officially make a city, it's the smallest one.
And do they, like, maintain it so that they are that?
I don't know.
That's so fucking weird. How do you be...
But that's why they flipped it so that the town is the largest village in England in some of the, like...
That's funny.
The pub that they keep going to is also the oldest free house in England. Free house is a pub or an inn that is not connected to a brewery.
Okay.
Oh.
Which, because it's England, has to be centuries old.
Wow.
And the alleyway that he chases the guy in the purple down.
Who's fuck ugly.
Yeah. Is the way that he used to walk to school.
Okay, yeah.
It's also known in the town as Lover's Alley, and is in fact where Edgar Wright got his first kiss.
That's adorable. I love that so much.
Also, those are the exact same, where he's jumping over the fences. Those are the exact same ones from Shaun of the Dead, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Or I don't know if they use the same fences, but the joke is like he can do it now.
It just looks identical.
That's all the like weird like things that to get out of the way that I caught from like the commentary. I took notes, but I don't have too much because a lot of it is just kind of them having fun back and forth. But
I was curious, would you talk more about how it relates to giallos?
So,
just because I know you know about giallos more than I know about.
The scenes in particular that really jump out would be the florist kill.
Okay, that makes sense. What little I remember from Fried Squirms of you talking about giallos on there, that adds up.
There's a thing that comes up in a number of them. There's one in particular gets name checked in the commentary, and it's Bird with a Crystal Plumage by Dario Argento. But it's a thing where the protagonist is there for the killing, sees the killer, but doesn't have all the information as to what's going on.
Interesting.
Which is exactly that scene. He sees what's going on, gives chase, thinks he knows what's going on, and we find out later that it's actually like 3 or 4 killers.
Yeah.
Which is also something that like Scream took.
Interesting. That's wild to think about.
like he plays with the lighting, not to the same extent that you would for a giallo, but there's definitely like unrealistic lighting in a number of scenes just to sort of amp up the tension. Um, there's you don't have a red recording light outside of your fucking dressing room that would be playing red light across like when they killed Romeo and Juliet. Or like, where is that red light coming from when fucking Lurch attacks him in his hotel room?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
The makeup of those shots is very giallo.
That's interesting to think about in hindsight.
Well, the Cornetto trilogy kind of follows from, again, not to just rely too much on Spaced. It's my hipster like, well, did you know? But Spaced was basic. Their description of it was a bunch of British 20-somethings living their life by recreating stuff they watched from American TV. And that's kind of what the Cornetto trilogy is. I mean, they like expand from there, but like...
So a part of the writing process on this movie was apparently Simon and Edgar took Roger Ebert's big book of movie tropes, went to the thriller section, and basically used it as a checklist.
That's so good.
That's fucking great.
So that also, like, we're covering it, like you said, you brought up giallos. It's also very much folk horror.
Yeah, and see, that one makes a lot of sense having just watched The Wicker Man. Outsider coming to a small village. Village has a particular way of doing things that is not the way it's done outside of the village. That's kind of sinister when you know about it.
Kind of.
Well, and not just that, but like the big thing of
Fuck
like
them kids is what I'm saying.
The big thing of realizing just how deep, in this case, not fucked, but like just how deep in it they were from the beginning.
Oh yeah,
is something that comes up a lot in folk horror. Folk horror is a weird term. I do want to say really quick, like when speaking about folk horror in very general terms, horror movie enthusiasts are usually referring to movies that follow in the tradition of what's called the Unholy Trio, which was very England based. It was the movies Blood on Satan's Claw, The Wicker Man, and Witchfinder General.
Which I've only seen one of those three, and I should really watch the other two.
But it doesn't have to just refer to that. If it's involving folk practices and horror, it's also folk horror. So there is a ton right now of like South Asian folk horror out there.
Oh, interesting.
There's kind of been a bit of a resurgence in that in the past like decade or so, and there's a bunch of really good ones. But when you're just talking folk horror in general, it's referring to the tropes set forth by those movies. Mm-hmm. And that's where you see, like, I mean, like you said, this movie is kind of just Wicker Man. You got to this cop going to this town, and it turns out everything in the town is actually a cult around him.
In all honesty, kind of the big difference is that he has a fucking buddy cop.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't have a buddy cop, he would have just been probably murdered.
Oh, absolutely.
To me, this is very much like the dog soldiers of Wicker Man. Which, that's a really weird reference if you don't know the movie Dog Soldiers.
I also just love that sentence. Oh, Dog Soldiers came up in our list of underrated.
Dog Soldiers is a werewolf movie where the victims are actually like an extremely competent army unit. Yeah. So instead of like your normal horror movie, they're just getting picked off. Yeah, they're getting picked off, but they actually know how to put up a fight, and it turns into a pretty good action flick in the meantime. Mm-hmm. This is just like that, but for Wicker Man. You're putting capable people in the situation instead of somebody who is... In the Wicker Man, he's capable. He's just vastly outnumbered. It's only him.
Yeah, he's vastly outnumbered and wildly puritanically, like, virginal of, like, oh, you guys, you can't be doing that. Oh, this is a Christian country. Mm-hmm. Governed by Christian laws.
And in
I
this,
could
he
see why
does
that
have to
wouldn't work with
loosen
Nick
up.
Cage doing it.
In this, Peg does have to loosen up a little bit, and that is part of his character arc, is like not only being crazy efficient cop, but it's not to like a huge extent. But it is to the extent that he doesn't even smile till minute 45.
It's also a fucking romance between him and Nick Frost, like most of his movies with Nick Frost.
Now, having watched the commentary, do you know whether or not it's true that originally they had planned to have a romance that they dropped?
I read that too, and they didn't mention that at all in the commentary.
And see, like
What they
I've
did
heard
mention,
that.
what they did mention that they dropped is that there was an entire subplot that happened with the leader of the hoodies
What?
that they drop. And so like the leader, that the kid that's the leader of the hoodies is supposed to be the grandson of Tom Weaver. And there was supposed to be an entire little thing there that they ended up dropping.
That's fucking weird. I love it.
And the priest was originally supposed to be a Buddhist monk,
Okay, that wouldn't have worked.
which is why they did leave one line after they changed the character,
uh-huh.
which is why he calls him fucking Grasshopper at the end,
Huh, okay.
as a reference to Kung Fu.
We have once again fallen into the trap that it's kind of hard to talk about this movie. Like,
It's
beyond,
kind of
fun behind the scenes trivia because it's just a good fucking. I don't know if I have a critique of this movie.
It's also hard to talk about this movie because of how much of it is, in fact, interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much designed to have to be watched multiple times. Edgar and Simon both have said that, like, in the age of the DVD, it's kind of a disservice if a director makes a movie that isn't meant to be watched multiple times.
Interesting. I like that.
And that's probably why I love his movies in general as much as I do, in that they all very much, I feel, merit a rewatch and
hold up
and hold up and get different insights upon rewatch.
All right. What was your guys' favorite jokes? There's like a million of them, but like that's why we might all have different ones.
I don't know if it's my favorite joke.
I think mine were all Danny. Danny's reads of certain things just always got me. Was like, did he mean me? All this? My bad fucking British accent where he holds up the monkey, where he's talking. The Andes call him a monkey or something, a stuffed monkey.
I don't know if it's my favorite joke, but it makes me laugh every time, and it made Cece laugh weirdly hard. Every time they would just go, by the power of Grayskull.
I think
we did get a little drunk.
Yeah. Mine might be when Nick goes to meet all the other officers for the first time, and they're all sort of in the main office there. There's a sheet of paper
behind him,
behind the one guy with the glasses. I can't remember his name.
Yes. The one who's constantly like
asking what
he would do, and there's like, good, yeah, let's do that.
So before the camera frames him so that all the bubbles are pointed directly at him, the main bubble in the middle is what makes a bad police officer.
Oh, no. I mean, in the same time, in that one, the fact that just everyone's eating cake, and like and it takes a moment until you're finally noticing it. Then you're like, wait, why is it? And that's when like Simon Pegg drops the like, why is everyone eating cake today? Like,
or the swear jar.
Thank you, Danny.
Did you notice the swear jar?
What does
yes?
it?
What
everything is censored except cunt.
Oh,
They self-censored everything else and then just wrote that out.
Britain.
I feel like the joke is that cunt wasn't originally on the list and then they added it.
Well, and it's a way more socially acceptable word outside of America. Like,
it's slowly getting less so, though. They said that they did push what they could do with this rating, with the like 2 times it's mentioned.
Oh, weird.
I just like when I was a kid, my mom's like, I don't really care that you swear. These are just the ones you can't, and that was like number one. And then I watched something British, which is like, oh no.
Zach, you might not be able to notice. You might not be able to answer this one as
guarantee I
easy.
didn't notice shit.
No. I was going to say you might not be able to answer this as easy because it had been so much longer since the last time you had seen this. But was there anything this time through you noticed that you'd never noticed before? Because so much of it is interconnected.
I think the thing I noticed this time, this is probably not a real answer, but it's just how interconnected and how well crafted. And apparently I did not notice how interconnected it is for shit. But like, it's a thing that we've talked about before. I don't tend to watch movies super critically, especially like all the little shit that you pick up, a lot of the set design. I'm just like, this is fucking great. I love colors. Like, that's some good design shit. But like, I don't always get a lot of the detail things. But doing this show for as many years as we have now, I am starting to do that a little more. And there's a lot of times where you watch movies from 10, 15 years ago where you might, especially as like our TVs have gotten nicer, shit doesn't hold up as well. Not a single fucking moment in this. Like, even the goofy explosions were still good enough that it didn't like pull me out or anything.
And the stuff that I feel like would be considered aged in other media, I feel like here feels like it's done in such a way that it feels timeless. It feels like almost period piece without being a period piece, a modern day concurrent period piece.
I guess it kind of is a joke. It's also kind of foreshadowing. The one that jumped out at me that I'd never noticed before is there's a sign at the bar for their special, and it's 2 shooters for the price of 1. And so later, when they come into the bar during the shootout, there's both of the bartenders shooting at them.
I do love the fucking bit where they're both jumping with the 2 guns, but they're doing it simultaneously, so it just looks super goofy. Like,
have you ever jumped while firing 2 guns?
Do they get into anything in the commentary? What, Jim Broadbent has 2 fucking, like, he definitely has villain guns. Do you guys notice this? He has, like, I feel like he has golden guns.
Oh, they didn't get into that in the commentary that I watched. They might get into that in one of the other commentaries.
There's like 5 of them. They're gonna have more shit for others.
But what's her name at the fucking hotel? When she yells fascist at him, like, she's using a German World War II machine gun.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I can't think of what it's called. Okay.
And I feel like
that's the one that always jumps out at me. I'm like, I know what that gun is.
I feel like a lot of the weapons that are used are kind of relatively like referential to the characters, because I feel like the guy who like pulls a shotgun out of his coat doesn't like Simon Pegg reference like what's he hiding in the coat, and I feel like they set up a shotgun.
What's he hiding in the coat? And guilty people make the first move, and when you pay attention in that scene, he pulls his gun before Simon does. Yeah, like they're not acting. They just know that he has them pegged anyway, and so he makes the first move. And the gal on the bike with the thermos and the guns, that's a Desperado reference.
Oh, it's so good.
What is the him riding into town? Is that just like on a horse? Is that classic Western, or is that referencing a specific movie?
I think it's supposed to be classic Western, and I think it's also him kind of throwing it in the inspector's face because the inspector was super into Westerns.
Oh yeah.
And like the guy with the Spider-Man face paint. But we mentioned him before. Yes. It's the same guy. His character's name is P. Parker.
Yeah, you're right. Man, I noticed that at the time, and then I had forgotten his name by the time it came to the...
That's the thing I wrote down from the commentary that I thought you would get a huge kick out of, being the comic book guy, not the wrestling guy.
That's fine.
Some of the stage direction that Wright would give Peg to make sure that he was emoting big enough for some of the scenes was that he would tell him Marvel Comics in order to remind him of Steve Ditko's face illustrations.
Ditko's got very expressive faces.
That's fucking
They're
great.
ugly, but they're very expressive. Ditko's such a weird. Oh my god.
And then they start making fun of Peg's hairline and resembling Harry Osborn.
Dude, when he was younger, he would have done such a good Harry Osborn. Holy shit.
Hell yeah, he would.
And Harry Osborn was never done very well in the movies.
No.
So, like... Okay, so this might be weird because we are the podcast about liking things, but because I have, like, zero criticisms of this movie, I've been kind of low-key trying to think of, like, critiques, criticisms. And I don't have any real ones for the most part. The only...
Fuck the police is my biggest complaint.
Sure, but this...
But in this movie?
Also, that gets a little different when you're talking...
Fuck the London police.
Yeah.
And Jim Broadbent.
Yeah, for real. The closest I have to two critiques, and I have to fucking stretch for these. One, they go through all of this violent stuff, and then they cannot get rid of those two guys just throwing knives. And then their solution of how to take out the guys throwing knives is to take all of the carts and run down the thing they've been chucking knives at them at, the aisle, and hit that. And it was funny, but I was like, this is the, like, because every other action scene has been, like, so perfectly set up, that one kind of pulled me out of it a bit, but it was funny enough that I don't really care, so that's what I mean, like, I don't have a shit for critiques. And I guess I don't think there's a single black person in this entire movie.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless it's in the opening sequence, maybe in his graduating class, where he gets the baton, he's awarded like the high honors baton thing. Maybe that'd be the only scene.
And, like, that's not even necessarily a critique of this movie, but kind of a critique of movies from 2008.
I do also think it is talking about, like, a small British town.
Sure, but
I don't know. Was there a lot of, like...
There's also a conversation that has come out in the last... But again, didn't as much back in 2008. We have to remember how much shit has changed in the last 15 years. It's been talked about a lot that Britain is a lot less white than it's given reputation for, and it always has been. But it's still pretty fucking white. It's Britain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not...
It's still...
Anytime you say that, something like, oh man, it sounds like you're just like, this movie's bad and racist, and I'm not...
But also at the same time, they
like,
were willing to kill some kids for some graffiti. I'm probably sure they.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm assuming they're killing some people because they're black.
I saw somebody break it down once on the internet, and it was when you go by actual like percentages of various non-white minorities in Britain, that like technically the Harry Potter films actually over-index for minorities.
Yikes.
Well.
And it doesn't seem like it, but like technically they do.
Well, and also if we're going to talk about small rural village is, I mean, we live in Montana, is going to be way more white than, yeah, now I feel weird just bringing it up, but I was like racking my brain for like.
No, that's true though.
And there's not much for women to do in this movie.
Other than Olivia Colman be dirty.
Olivia Colman's dirty. Like, there's a lot of women in this movie, but all of the main characters are dudes.
Yeah.
And again, this is one of those risky conversations, and not with you two, but like, where people are like, oh, you're saying this movie's just bad because of it? You're like, no, I'm just admitting that
it's just there. It's one of those things about it.
Yeah, and it's movies can sometimes do better.
Yeah. And talking about it is important.
Yes, that's really what it is. But this movie's so fucking good.
This movie is so fucking good. I am excited to go watch World's End, and I will report back on it, which that'll be fun in recording order to see where that comes out.
After this, at least. So
good point,
it's
actually.
Not before.
Yeah, it'll come after at this point. Fuck, yeah, this movie's great. I feel like there's other things on the cop thing. Like, I do kind of feel like all police should be forced to watch this movie like once every other week. Because he does most of his stuff until it comes down to the end where, like, he's facing a cult. So, like, some things can be forgiven.
Yes, my concern is they're going to take the final scene and forget all the lessons you're talking about. It is fucking fascinating. Yes, I know British police have their own set of problems, and I am not claiming, like, oh, it's fine. British police are just fine. But having a character who's a super cop, has not touched a gun in years, and not having that feel like weird or like bullshit is so fascinating from an American perspective where every cop has like 2 guns and a taser and
Well, the other thing is, like, he's a super cop because he literally does everything by the book the way that you're supposed to. Half of the scenes in this movie that are shot as action sequences are him filling out paperwork.
yeah.
Fuck, dude, the soundtrack is also really good.
That subject.
I did want to look it up after the fact. It did remind me of some of the music that he used in Baby Driver.
Well, Edgar
And
Wright's one of those soundtrack directors.
Well,
And wait-
it's because he did a lot of music videos as well.
One other thing, also during the firefight at the end, is all non-lethal shots.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he wants to arrest them all.
Just kind of neat.
Yeah, it's
Actually, I'm going to point out, like, the channel on YouTube, FilmJoy, Movies with Mikey. He did an episode on Hot Fuzz about 4 or 5 years ago, where he does like a really good like 10-minute breakdown of like, it's kind of important that we should probably get more cop representation like this, because this is actually something that we should hope for, because this is him doing it the right way.
This is a pretty good cop. I would much rather a cop who first goes to his notebook than a gun.
well, and here's one of the things, like, I have listened to enough true crimes that I know that, like, absolutely no cops has a whole lot of problems the other direction. So I think there's something of value of representing cops in ways that actually, like, help.
Paperwork.
Paperwork. Filling out the paperwork.
The need for filling out paperwork. The fact that, like, the first time he encounters fucking Romeo, like, the weapon he turns against him is his pen.
I love
and
that
just
scene.
literally writing down
Every word
everything he's saying. And it makes him a badass in that scene.
It really does.
It really does. It's the biggest flex I see him do in that whole movie, in all honesty.
It is a little terrifying at the end, and I know they're just being over the top, but at the end, like, the very final bit, where they're like, oh, there's someone spraying graffiti or something, and they, like, drop the sunglasses and do the super dangerous spin and go on, like, oh, I hope you guys didn't get weirdly gun happy as a result of this. Like,
No.
depending how much you guys have gotten comfortable taking shit into your own hands, this could be a problem.
They're just taking over where they left off. They're gonna just dull out their murderous justice.
5 years. Hot Fuzz 2 as Simon Pegg and Nick Frost is leading the cult now.
Yeah, that's funny. They made a couple jokes about the way the movie ends on that commentary, because they're like, it seems like they both also feel ACAB a little bit, because they are like, it is kind of weird when you think about it that this movie ends with like the good guy being kind of super cop fascist. But it's better than what the town had.
Yes.
Yeah, and when the other option is murder cult.
I thought of one other joke in this movie that I don't think I had ever really noticed before and made me super fucking laugh last night. And it's when he finds all the bodies from all the people that have been disposed of by the NWA, and the living statue still has the same fucking expression on his face.
That's a good bit.
Maybe just the realization that he thinks this is like some big weird land deal and is actually just
Oh, when he puts it together and it's so much more complicated than them being fucking petty to each other.
Yeah, and instead they're all just like obsessed with like British politeness, British like properness taken to the nth degree.
As well as the pride in their village.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying,
Yeah.
though. Like, there's such a, like, stiff upper lip, we must do things the classic, proper British way, is really, like, the bad guy in this fucking movie.
I will also say it's kind of fucking wild that the amount of decay on the bodies in that final scene, that is a problem I had, because the living statue is full on, like, guy. But the hoodies, corpses, are like hardcore desiccated corpses.
Yeah, they're even worse than the crusty jugglers.
And then like also like fucking the dude with the great big bushy beard. He is like fucking skeleton.
How much time has passed in this movie anyways? Like,
well, we don't know. Do we know how long ago it was before the previous guy that they had sent?
not terribly long, because he's the replacement for them. So within a year, I would guess.
Imagine, but also maybe they're trying to keep it open because they don't want a new outsider coming in. So there's that possibility. But I noticed that was something I noticed on last watch. Was like some of the decay on these bodies seems weird. Mostly because the juggler's there.
My
or the
question on
living
that
robot.
one is, like, they killed all the hoodies. Or not all of them, but, like,
But,
a
like,
bunch of them.
the kids from the bar, basically.
They kill every shithead kid in this. It's not a big village. What is
Isn't
your
it
plan
weird that
here?
the crime rate is so low, but the accident rate is so high?
Also, like, you guys got okay. So if the
You
accident
got
rate,
like 5 years left before this village doesn't exist anymore. You have to indoctrinate more people into the cult.
how did you get rid of the kids? I get that like accident rates are so high, but like you just have like the kids. Those kids are missing now.
Oh, this one I can answer from true crime. There is a disturbing tendency in true crime and in cops who don't want to do work to go, kids run away all the time.
Oh, gross! I hate it.
Fucking John Wayne Gacy successfully killed 32 boys, mostly because cops go, kids run away all the time.
I hate it.
Yep. Have fun with that one.
Well, especially in that town, when you think of the fridge logic of like, why were all the police there so inept? And it's because the NWA does everything. The only cops that stick around there are ones that are seriously inept, because it's the only ones that the NWA allow to stick around there.
Yikes! Or on the other end of the spectrum, I feel like the setup with the bar scene of him bringing in all the hoodies, they're like, well, this guy, he's going to help us clean up anybody we don't really like. He'll bring them in and we'll kill them.
Speaking of the setup, like knowing like the whole thing with the NWA and stuff, some of those opening scenes are super interesting to look through. When he's first being introduced to them all, watch Jim Broadbent in the background. He's in the background of almost every one of those shots, just stone face staring at him.
Wild. Weird. I will probably rewatch this one more time before Halloween, just because
I'm gonna try as well, and I don't have a whole lot of time to watch TV, so but it's fucking good.
And like every single one of them, that everybody that gets killed, somebody says something like a minute beforehand that indicates they're gonna die. It's literally all set up. It is insane. Go rewatch it right now. I'm talking to you, listener. Go rewatch it right now.
Oh, hey, since we're talking to you directly, listener, happy Halloween.
Drink some water.
Drink some water. That too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Discord I'm on that literally anytime someone says, like, hey, we're doing this thing, one person who never comes out to anything always just pops up to go, drink water. And Mara is like my favorite person on that Discord.
That we
Hydrate or dihydrate.
at work, when we have our little like midday department meetings to just like make sure everybody's on the same page for like 5 minutes and get a good stretch in, and sometimes a good story and a laugh. It also like is passed around the circle if anybody has anything to be brought up, and that has sort of become a fallback if like too many people in a row is like, no, I'm good this week. No, I'm good this week. Somebody will always be like, everybody make sure to drink some water.
I mean, seriously, like I was working a shift the other day and suddenly was just like super dizzy and I'm like, oh no, I have COVID, because a couple people that I know have gotten COVID recently. I'm like, I have COVID, I'm gonna die. And I'm like, I haven't drank anything but coffee today. I need to drink water. And immediately felt better. So
Yeah.
so drink water.
Drink some water.
The judges for the town, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the dude was, but the gals on either side of him were Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg's moms.
Oh, that's cute.
That's excellent.
What was that noise you just made?
That was a squee of delight.
Sorry. Oh, God. They definitely didn't win that year. They did not win.
No, they didn't.
If they did, it was through intimidation.
Romeo and Juliet fucking stopping to a like, love me, say that you love me.
Them doing like a Baz Luhrmann version of Romeo and Juliet for like the local theater.
He's delightful.
Also, Romeo being like 60 when he's like 17 in the...
Everything about that was so magical.
Okay,
I had completely forgotten that play was like that.
Oh God, it's so
in that scene.
bad.
Danny's bit about her liking older men. They're talking after the play,
right?
And you're just like, there was a sign that she liked older men, and he just drops a bit, and it was just like about an older brother, and that's the whole thing, and it was just like, that's a fucking vile thing you just said about another person. That's fucking hilarious.
Well, and they mention her later in his only thing, because he's like, we learned so-and-so, so-and-so, her finger, and you're like, ugh.
It's also fucking... Everything's connected. The fucking Andes, when they're giving him shit about having to do the swan job, like, oh yeah, they say they can break a man's arm.
The arm is broken.
The arm is broken at the end after he runs into the fucking...
That's fucking great.
I had forgot, like, they pull over and pick up the swan, and I was like, that's fun. I wouldn't keep a swan in there. And Cecil's like, that's a terrible idea. And then we stopped thinking about it. And then he, like, runs off in their car, and both of us were like, the swan.
One of the better unsung jokes of that scene is they do this wide shot on him going away in the car, and he runs into the only tree in the field,
and it's like a zigzag into the tree. Very good bit.
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, that's really like...
I love it. I'm excited to rewatch it. It's definitely one of my... it might be my favorite of the Cornetto trilogy. Which is like, weird to say, because until just recently, I would have said... Until like 2 days ago, I would have said it was Shaun of the Dead.
We are a podcast about liking things. The whole thing that we do is liking stuff, and we've been watching stuff that fucking rips from start to finish lately, and some stuff that doesn't but is actually still fun. But like, and the thing's so well designed as like Shoresy or whatever, which is way better designed than it gets credit for. This might be one of the most perfectly assembled pieces of media that I have ever seen, but not in a way that feels elitist.
Oh, I think there are legitimate arguments to be made for Edgar Wright being the best director currently alive, and this might be exhibit number 1.
So, like,
followed very closely by Scott Pilgrim as exhibit number 2.
Holy shit, Scott Pilgrim is so fun.
Filmmaking wise, I 100% agree. Story wise, it ages worse and worse the more the older I get.
But I think that's part of the point, and I still want to do a Scott Pilgrim episode, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but Scott Pilgrim is about being a shithead in your early 20s, which was basically all of us. He's a special breed of shithead, but like...
I don't think I was a shithead in my 20s, guys.
You know what? I thought of my critique for this one.
Yeah.
The Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, the other 2 movies share kind of a common theme, but they approach it from different directions and get into different aspects of it. But they are both very much about some of the emotional aspects of growing up and becoming an adult.
Very much so.
See,
This one is the one that's the least of that by a long shot.
I agree, because it's not about that, unless you look at kind of Danny.
I think there's things you can pick out from it, like Simon having to loosen up in his job
And that's
and
kind
like
of what I think it
finding
is,
a
like-
way to like where he's going to settle down, and it's kind of a weird meta thing because it is in fact Edgar Wright's hometown. And
I think it, at least for me, it, like, I mean, one, I agree, but two, when they made this one, there was never a plan of a
Right.
trilogy, so it kind of, there's some stuff that, oh, this doesn't work as the trilogy because was not planned as such, but so it's very much Shaun of the Dead he has no ambition in life, he has no anything other than just kind of existing.
and like and
Kind
learning
of
to like motivate
learning
and
to
set
grow into
boundaries
something.
and
While this is about like someone the exact opposite direction, which is fucking fascinating from a creative standpoint. That was like the choice that they made, and how well they do it. How much they kind of go the opposite directions, ending in the same spot. But all of these movies are definitely, there's a whole bit about like kind of growing up, but really I think it's more like finding your place in life and existing well in it, which is just next door to growing up, like when it comes to themes and stuff.
Yeah, this one is definitely, like you said, they weren't planning on a trilogy, so it makes sense. But now that they are all thrown together all the time, even by the director, this is the one that falls weak in that aspect.
And see, I've always seen them as being about finding a balance of living your life in a way you enjoy while also still being able to live your life.
Yeah, that's kind of like finding your place.
Yeah, like him maintaining his relationship in Shaun of the Dead while still trying to have a friendship and be the person that he was in his youth, while also still definitely is a thing that comes up again in World's End, of him being too much like he is in his youth. And this one, and in Hot Fuzz, he's definitely way too rigid and like too much identified by his job. He needs to find a life outside of it and friends. That is Danny.
I do like that this one is, as I said, is kind of a romance. It can be taken as a romance in a way that I wouldn't argue in it at all, or I guess, platonic romance. Like,
which that's one of the things I love about it, in all honesty.
It's as much of a romance as Bad Boys and Point Break.
Yeah,
fair.
Like,
however you want to take those, and however you want to read into those, this is also that.
There's definitely some homoeroticism to it if you want to read it that way. I also kind of fucking love to read it as just like, these two grown men are finding friendship and love for each other as friends.
Well, it's a thing that gets talked about a lot because, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'll see a lot of like accusations of queer baiting of two characters who are being portrayed as just like super, super close friends. And I see how that's going, and I'm not going to argue with anyone's headcanon of like there should be romance there, but also simultaneously we'll talk about like, we need to allow guys just to have friends. Like, that's healthy for them in a way that we don't always allow for. Like, everything's got to be kind of like work or romance in the way that we portray it in media. But then we show super close friends, and then like a dedicated portion's like, now kiss.
Okay, now that you're friends, fuck.
So like, I'm not saying it's like, I'm definitely not saying it's wrong to people who are watching this, and there are definitely scenes where they do it on purpose, where you're like, oh, this is a fucking romance scene.
Oh yeah.
I would say less than Shaun of the Dead, honestly. I feel like they were more romantic in that.
Well, they call each other babe in that.
But I think that's
like,
part of the bit, is that
Yeah.
like they have such a fucking strong friendship that's so codependent that they are practically dating and like in a relationship that isn't isn't what Janine's looking for in that movie.
Right.
Or
yeah.
I have the names wrong, but you know what I mean.
She didn't. Oh.
She doesn't show up in this movie. And the woman from Spaced who shows up for a single scene in Shaun of the Dead where she's leading her own group of survivors that are all kind of like clones.
She shows up in 3 scenes.
Oh, she does show up in the end. You're right.
They do that bit three times. She shows up before the apocalypse, just like, what are you doing for your anniversary? And like they play that same bit. It's basically the same scene every time.
Yeah, and then she's the one that shows up with the like, well, I got rescued, so.
And it basically ends with like, thank goodness somebody survived.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see it in different contexts every time.
But that actress, who is a really good actress and is in a bunch of shit too, didn't make it into this one either.
Bummer.
God, she's funny in Spaced, which is weird because she's usually not in like super comedic roles, at least of the last few years.
The lady barkeep, though, was the landlord from Spaced.
Not so weirdly drunk and horny, so I didn't recognize her. Dude, Spaced is so...
Spaced is great.
Oh my god. Okay.
I think that's all
I think we need to wrap up this
Let's
episode.
wrap this up.
I gotta go home. I'm driving to Spokane tomorrow.
Same. I gotta go home.
I'm not doing either, though. I'm already home, but
Yeah,
like
no,
I
you're set,
understand this.
bitch.
You want us to leave your home so you can have it to
Please
yourself.
leave my house. I need to let the cat out again. It keeps attacking Stephen.
I don't know why. I want to love him.
I'm not gonna do it next time because it's...
We don't know.
At this point, it's now up in the air again. I don't know what order I am doing these in anymore. I know I said it at the beginning of the episode.
I think we were saying Letterkenny is next, but like I don't...
Letterkenny is most likely next.
Letterkenny or Farscape, you'll see.
Something we recorded.
It's all great. I've had a lot of fun with our episodes lately. Anyways, in the meantime, we're your generals of nerdery. I'm Zach.
I'm Tyler.
Dismissed.
Hi everybody, General Tyler here. If you like the show, please hit subscribe however you're listening to us right now. Also, if you could rate and review us however you're listening to us right now, or preferably over at Apple Podcasts, we would super appreciate it, as the whole world is ran on algorithms, and we want to be all up in them, getting our voice out to more places. Also, tell your friends. We always appreciate that. If you want to get in contact with us, ask us questions, give us comments, email us generalnerderypod@gmail.com. You can also contact us through our website, www.generalnerdcast.com. While you're there, check out all of our back catalog, or click the links up at the top, as we are part of the Earworm Podcast Network. Go check out all of our sister shows. We're involved with most of them, so if you already like listening to us talk, it might be in your best interest. And if you want to check out everything from the network, head over to earworm.com, EARVVYRM.com. We'd super appreciate it. Love you all. Have a good one.